Hello, welcome to a special edition of the Right Wing Populist Podcast. I am the Right Wing Populist. So, usually we don't drop podcasts on Friday, but because of the breaking news that happened last night with Israel striking Iran, I thought, we should do a special podcast. It's not good. Not good. Not good at all. Yeah, so Israel, they struck some of Iran's nuclear facilities, potentially taking out some Iran government officials. Apparently, Israel was trying to target some of their nuclear scientists in Iran. And when the strikes first happened, Secretary of State Marco Rubio put out a statement saying that the U.S. wasn't involved and essentially warned Iran not to go after, U.S. soldiers or U.S. citizens. And, at the time when I read that statement from Rubio, I didn't really believe it. The reality is Israel would not strike Iran without the U.S. giving its okay, at least to some extent. I mean, I was hoping Rubio's statement was true, but I sort of knew it wasn't. And more reporting's come out, and Trump himself basically confirmed today on Truth Social that these strikes were done in coordination with the United States, and it's not good. This is not. I mean, this is. I sort of hate to say this after what I said last week, but shit like this is what makes people like Nick Fuentes, because this does make Nick Fuentes look like he was right about everything. The meme we'll see on X and Twitter about Nick Fuentes whenever Israel does something bad or Trump, walks back one of his promises. You'll see these memes like Fuentes is right about everything. Well, the U.S. giving the okay to bomb Iran makes Nick Fuentes look awfully good right now. I hate to say it, but that's just the reality. And not just about war, but just with everything among the Trump administration. I mean, yesterday also Trump came out and wanted to make exceptions for deportations for farmers, for illegal immigrants working on big farms, and wanted to make exceptions for like resort workers. What the hell? What? I mean, just politically, that looks awful, especially considering Trump owns resorts. It's like, wow, it seems like you want to make an exception for yourself. Trump hasn't been able to create a peace deal with Russia and Ukraine. Now it looks like Israel is going to drag us into war with Iran. The administration sort of looks like it's falling apart right now. I mean, what the hell? This is not good. I'm sorry. If Israel wanted to strike Iran but literally by themselves or with some other country, okay. Israel's a sovereign country. They should be able to do what they want. But we're also a sovereign country, the United States. And we shouldn't be helping Israel bomb Iran because there's no real benefit to us. And also, it's just Netanyahu's been saying for decades Iran is close to getting a nuclear bomb. He's been saying that since the 90s. Okay. In 1992, he said Iran is 3 to 5 years from nuclear capability. In 93, he said another 3 to 5 years. In 95, he said Iran in 3 to 5 years will have nuclear capability. In 2004, he said Iran was aggressively pursuing nuclear weapons. He said that in 2006, Iran would have a nuclear bomb soon, then go on and on and on. This guy has cried wolf so many times. And now they do this preemptive strike with the blessing of the United States and Trump. I mean, there's also reporting, remember like a month or two ago, there were reports that there was friction between Trump and Netanyahu. Well, now there's Israeli media who's today reporting that those reports of friction between Trump and Netanyahu was all manufactured to try to give Iran a false sense of security and basically to give Iran the impression that Trump and the United States and Israel weren't necessarily, working together or weren't on the same page regarding how to handle the Iran negotiations. So it's just terrible. I mean, this is a legacy-defining moment for Trump. I mean, it really is. how he handles this in the next 48 hours. If he allows this, if Trump allows or sends U.S. troops to fight Iran on Israel's behalf, his administration is over. It's done. Okay, his movement is done. The MAGA movement will be just a corpse of itself. You can't run as the peace candidate, can't brag about not starting any new wars during your first administration, and then get us dragged into a new Middle East war in the first year of your second administration. It Plus you add the fact, like I said, he hasn't gotten a peace deal done with Ukraine and Russia. He said he had this weird claim about or objective about amnesty regarding farm workers and resort workers. Like, what the hell did we vote for then if you're gonna not follow through on all these big promises you made regarding war and immigration? Again, it's stuff like this is what drives people to commentators like Nick Fuentes. When Israel is seemingly driving U.S. foreign policy, and when Trump seems to walk back his claims on immigration, that's what makes people want to watch Nick Fuentes. Now, I don't think you should, because Fuentes says a lot of things that I don't think is good about race and other things. But, to be fair, he made a big prediction at the beginning of Trump's administration that he wouldn't follow through on a lot of his big promises and that he would likely get us into war with Iran. So far, th- you know, you those those predictions, they're not wrong so far. I hope they're not ultimately right, but they haven't been wrong so far, that's for sure. So it's a big mess. So what should Trump do? What should Trump do going forward? How should he handle the potential war with Iran? The first thing he should do is to make clear that we are not going to send any soldiers to help Israel to fight Iran. Trump should make it very clear to Israel that if you want to, continue bombing Iran, go to war with Iran, that's great. But that's on you guys. We're not going to be involved. Okay, we don't want to get involved in. How the hell can we get into another proxy war when we still haven't finished the proxy war between Russia and Ukraine? I mean, again, this is ridiculous. The fact that Trump has not just pulled all the funding from Ukraine at this point is sort of shameful, to be honest. This is what he ran on. What the hell was the point of voting for him if he can't just end these proxy wars? So he better make it clear to Israel we're not getting involved with another proxy war, let alone another war in the Middle East. We're not doing that as the United States. We're not sending any soldiers at all. We shouldn't send any weaponry either, but I think we probably already did based off the reports from today, just regarding this first Israeli attack on Iran. But that's what Trump should say. We should make it clear it's not our problem. And also, why is Mark Levin, why does he even have a role in the White House? This little midget, just send him to Israel. That's all he cares about. Again, when you have people like Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro seemingly only caring about what's best for Israel, not the United States, that's what drives people to Nick Fuentes. Because whatever you think of Fuentes, he makes it very clear that all he cares about is the United States. Whether or not you think his ideology is what's best for the United States, I happen to not think that. But he makes it clear his perspective is what he thinks is best for the United States. But when you hear these other conservative commentators like Mark Levin and Ben Shapiro seemingly care more about what's best for Israel, yeah, it drives people to Nick Fuentes. So if he sends troops or he starts doing seemingly what's best for Israel, that's going to drive even more people to, the Fuentes type, the more of the very far, far, far right, semi-racist right. And that's not good. We don't want that. So Trump should make it very clear we're not going to send soldiers at all. We shouldn't send any weaponry, but certainly no soldiers to Israel. We cannot get involved in another war in the Middle East. That was one of the biggest things Trump ran on in 2016. Was going after all of these stupid, retarded Middle Eastern wars that other presidents, like the Bushes, had gotten us into. I mean, it would just, especially considering Trump not getting us involved in the new wars during his first term, which is what he ran on, vigorously. I mean, he'd bring it up all the time. If he gets us involved, directly involved in another Middle Eastern conflict with Iran, his administration is cooked. Republicans will be seen as a party of war again, and Democrats will they'll certainly easily take back the House in 26, and they'll win the White House in 28. So Trump should not get involved with this conflict anymore. If he did help Israel with these attacks, which I believe he did, that should that should be the end of our involvement. No more. And and God forbid, do not send any troops. Don't do it. You know the meme, "I'm not gonna die for Israel"? Well, that's a popular meme because no one wants to die for Israel. It would be so unpopular if Trump does that. I mean, just be I mean, we need where's Vance? Where's Tulsi Gabbard? Why the hell is Tulsi Gabbard being ignored? I mean, she's she's been saying I mean, she's been saying that Iran hasn't been trying to get a nuclear weapon, and she's the head of national intelligence. Why is she being ignored? Why is Mark Levin having dinner with Trump, him ranting that Iran's days from getting a nuclear weapon, and that's who Trump decides to listen to instead of Tulsi Gabbard? Instead of other people in his administration who's making it clear that Iran's not close to a nuclear weapon? And why would and by the way, and even if they were close, why wouldn't they want a nuclear weapon? You know, the United States has made it very clear that if you're a government they don't agree with and you don't have nuclear weapons, they'll overthrow you. Look what happened to Gaddafi. This is what happens. If you're a country who even gives up their nuclear weapons in good faith, that won't stop the United States from trying to overthrow you. That's the lesson all these countries learned from what happened to Gaddafi. He gave up his weapons in good faith, and then we overthrew him anyway. So even though Iran is trying, you can understand why Iran would want a nuclear weapon just based off our history. So this whole thing is a mess. I hope I hope he has the sophistication and the wherewithal to not get us involved in another Middle Eastern war. I mean, that's what he ran on. The anti-war people in the administration, like J.D. Vance, please get to the president and make him clear this will not be popular with the base. This will not be popular with the base. Anyway, that's it for the emergency version of the podcast. Please subscribe on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever you get your podcasts. We'll have the Saturday show tomorrow with, the full podcast. There'll probably be a new segment also, including this. So yeah, thanks for listening, guys. Let's pray for no war, and you guys have a good rest of your day. Bye-bye.